why and how Paul commended that women should learn. Much is made of the fact that 1 Timothy 12 verse 11, 1 Timothy 2 verse 11 says, women should learn in quietness and full of submission. It is rarely noted, however, that this commandment to learn was a landmark, groundbreaking amendment for women. It's a very great groundbreaking for women. That's why Paul commended women from now they should learn. Remember, prior to the establishment of the New Testament churches, women were not allowed to learn at all. They were not allowed to learn. They were not allowed to teach. They were not allowed to talk in the church. But presently in the New Testament, Paul commanded them to learn. Because presently, they are leaders. They are doing exploits. They are doing bigger things. Talk more of Esther, Rebecca, Mary Magdalene, Elizabeth, and so on. The book of the New Testament was all full of women of great importance. So, now for the first time in the Jewish history, women are now students, just like the men. They are now students, just like the men. So let's focus on the quietness and fullness of submission required in the section are not revolutionary. Paul commanded that women should learn. The Bible not only permitted but also required educational opportunity for women. For the first time in the Jewish history, women are now students like the men. And the posture of the male disciples was quietness and in full submission. Before, throughout, and after Paul's time, the rabbis were agreed that silence was an admirable attribute for precious scholar. Meaning that the posture of silence and submission requires indexation of the scripture. Was not restriction. It was a sign of quality. Because women were now given the same privilege and responsibility in learning as men. So why did Paul say, I do not permit a woman to teach? Or to assume authority over men, that she must be quiet. 1 Timothy 2, verse 12. So, let us interpret in three different explanations and see if what Paul is saying in that scripture, whether he's consistent or not. Number one, why was that for a false teaching? Why did Paul make this dramatic shift from plural to singular? He concluded that Paul had a specific Ephesian woman in mind as he wrote this word to Timothy. The context suggests that she was a vocal promoter of false teaching, troubling the Ephesian church. That's the main reason. The entire book of 1 Timothy is predicted on Paul's desire to set right the errant doctrine mentioned in chapter 1. Remember, Paul was trying to correct the errant doctrine which restrict women from teaching or doing things in the church. And one heresy fits the context more than any other genotism. This may be why Paul reviews the creation order in 1 Timothy chapter 2, verse 13. There, let me say that some genetics teachings would have Adam ignorant and Eve informed of the truth of the fruit of the tree of knowledge of evil. Meaning that if Paul can be so you know what I mean? If Paul can be so unsure of what he was saying, he would have not said so. So the summary is that women are allowed to do what their God has assigned all of us to do. As you watch, may God bless you, and subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video. I remain Pastor Prince Aleke.